we've gone from 15 years of debilitating diverticulitis, 2 hospital visits in a month,
Yeah,
courses of antibiotics back to back,
yeah,
to just changing the way you eat, choosing a whole foods, plant-based
yeah,
lifestyle.
yes.
And by doing that, you've been able to overcome all of those issues. You've not seen the doctor or been to hospital or used medication for 7 months.
Yes.
And, on the whole, you really feel good now and your digestion's good.
So no, I haven't been back to my GP at all um,
And
since
medication
July.
free.
No, medication free
Absolutely.
since July. So that's
Mm.
good. And I've lost 16 kgs and I eat
Wow.
2,000 calories.
Hello everyone, welcome to another video testimonial. Today I'm sitting here with Carol, who has worked with us towards the end of last year to heal some digestive problems. So Carol, I'm just going to ask you to tell the audience what you were going through initially before you came to see us, and the kind of experiences you had and the things that you tried to deal with the digestive issues you had. Also, I'd like you to explain exactly what type of digestive issues you had, so yeah, people get an idea of what you were going through.
Okay. So about 15 years ago, I ended up in hospital on the West Coast when I was travelling for work.
Mm-hmm.
And I travelled a lot and stayed in hotels, and always used to have the cashew nuts and the Diet Coke when I checked in, and ended up with abdominal pain, and ended up in Christchurch Hospital where I was diagnosed with diverticulitis, had diverticular disease, and was advised not to eat nuts. That was one of the catalysts. So I excluded nuts from my diet,
Mm-hmm.
but I still carried on, occasionally getting it. In the last probably 18 months, for some reason, it was flaring up every month. So every month I was at the doctor. I would have colonoscopies every 5 years to make sure there was nothing more sinister, but nothing was found except diverticulitis, and I was told it was an age and stage thing.
Mm.
But for some reason, I started getting flare-ups and was put on antibiotics. So the course of antibiotics would work, and then a few weeks later, back it would come again. So I did a search on the net and found lots of advice about how to deal with diverticulitis and
Mm.
food grouping. Still didn't work. And then I was having dinner with some friends, Girish and Neha Mayer, who talked to me about you and your brother and the success you had had with ulcerative colitis. So I looked you up on the website and thought, it can't hurt, and it's got to help, because I can't keep doing this.
Mm.
In June 2015, I was hospitalised for 3 days, and then again on the 4th of July, back into hospital and had a huge allergic reaction to Augmentin. So
Mm.
I had to do something. I'm working full time. I've got a busy job, and I'm a nana of 8 grandsons. I had to
Mm.
do something. So I sent you an email, and within minutes you came back to me, and I had my first consultation.
Mm.
So that's how I found you.
Mm. And what did you think when we spoke to you about what we know happens in the body? How did you feel about it, and what made you want to start working with us?
Well, I guess it was the training you did. I guess it was not just, I mean, you obviously, both of you had done research, but you were actually living the program. And when I read about your brother being so unwell and looking at how ill he was and what you did, but
Mm.
you also have gone on to do some training. You hadn't
Mm.
just come up with this system, you'd had a look at the impact of food on your digestive system. So it seemed to make sense to me, and it seemed to have a bit of substance behind it.
Great. And so you started the program, and what happened throughout the course? Because you worked with us for about 3 months,
3 months, yes.
and so we want to try to kind of teach people that when you want real health, it's a long-term commitment that people need to
Yes.
make, and it's not something that can be solved by taking a pill or taking a kind of supplementary herbal supplement or a multivitamin, whatever
Yeah.
people tend to do,
Yeah.
or a potion or a powder,
Yeah.
So what did you find that when you started working with us, what did you find was different maybe from what some things you've tried before, and how did you feel?
Well, I read the book that I had to read before you would talk to me about what the program was about, and I
Mm,
watched some of the TED Talks.
mm,
And I've been a meat eater all my life, and a big meat eater.
mm,
And I had to, so when I read the book, I thought, oh, some of these ideas are a bit extreme, but actually it made a bit of sense to me. And I still cook meat for those of my family who want to eat meat, but
mm,
I haven't eaten meat since I started the program. It was trial and error. I was prepared to give it a go, and I started off on the liquid diet with the fruit juices and soups. And I looked at your recipes on your website, and that gave me some ideas of what to do rather than try and make it up myself. But you were
mm.
very clear that you wouldn't give me a recipe list. I had to work out what was right, and I was a bit miffed about that. But because that's easy, but it
Yeah,
but it would then mean I would only follow those recipes and not try anything else.
correct.
So just sticking to the program, I didn't have pain.
Mm,
And talking to you by Skype, I mean, I live in Palmerston North, you live in Auckland.
mm,
It meant that you could have a look at what I was eating. I'd fill in my food diary, and you'd tell
mm,
me what worked and what wasn't going to work, what would be harder to digest.
mm,
But you also allowed me a bit of trial and error. You weren't rigid about it, so it had to fit my lifestyle. So
mm.
there's no way I could eat the number of bananas that you ate. And I thought you were mad with the number of bananas, but I can eat a lot of them in a smoothie. And I had a
Mm,
smoothie today, for example,
mm,
and I learnt more about food grouping and I guess just trying to see how it fitted into my diet. And now I try things, and if it doesn't work for me, I go back and get on
mm,
that liquid diet
mm,
and then start introducing things again.
mm, mm. And that's the most important thing, because we want to teach people how to live a long, healthy life without the reliance on doctors and medication. And so
Yes,
the whole idea has to be that you have to learn how to implement our ideas or our guidelines into your lifestyle. So it can't be, you can't live our lifestyle because that's not going to
no,
necessarily work. So, it has to be how you implement it into your lifestyle. I think it's really important. And that's why sometimes our program, some people might feel that it's a little longer. For you it was 3 months. For most people who've got IBDs, it's 6 months.
yes.
But it takes time to heal, but it also takes time to get to grips and get into a routine and understand how to live this lifestyle properly. Do you agree?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
Mm,
Absolutely, I do. Because I guess I thought I would miss meat, but I think you get into the habit of eating certain foods.
mm,
And if you think about what Kiwis generally have for breakfast, it would be eggs and bacon and cereal and that sort of thing. And to go
mm,
to, I have apple and celery juice
mm,
in the mornings. Don has it, my husband has it too, and he's
mm,
feeling better.
mm,
Um, and then at lunchtime, a banana smoothie. If I'm out of the office and I can't access the blender, then I will go and do something that is similar. So I could have
mm,
a Subway sandwich or something, but have a vegetarian Subway sandwich, and that works fine.
mm,
So I have to say, when I first started it, I panicked a bit if I couldn't do my fruit juice and my banana smoothie. Was I going to have pain? Because I think you told me once that is the few minutes of pleasure that you get from having sort of a naughty piece of whatever out of a packet.
yeah.
You can have what you like, Carol, but anything out of a packet's not really going to be very good for you, I think you said to me. And it's true. And when you have pain, it's so debilitating that you think, why did I put myself through this? And
Mm,
so if you go off the program, you soon know if things are not right for you, and you just go back to your basics and start
mm,
again. That's
mm.
working for me. Mm.
Fantastic. And what did you notice? Because you've gone from being in serious pain, hospitalized twice in a month, uh, to not having to see a doctor or use medications for 7 months.
7 months. Yeah, I haven't
Yeah.
been to my doctor. I changed doctors because I wasn't impressed with the doctor that I had.
Mm,
And I said, well, it was nice to meet him. I hoped I didn't see too much of him. Um, and I haven't since I had my last hospital admission. And I guess the discussion we had about the impact of things that you take,
mm,
having your digestive system focus on that rather than taking the nutrients out of your food or
mm,
whatever, it made sense to me. So no, I haven't been back to my GP at all.
And
since
medication
July.
free.
No, medication free
Absolutely.
since July. So
Mm.
that's good. And I've lost 16 kgs and I eat
Wow.
2,000 calories. And well, you know how hard it was for me to get up to 2,000 calories. I thought,
Yeah.
my goodness. So even now it's hard for me to eat 2,000 calories. And I get back into my food diary every now and again just to check.
Just to check. That's great.
Yeah.
And so now you're in a situation where it's just about self-monitoring and understanding. You don't need. Do you need to rely on us?
No, not at all.
Yeah.
No, not at all. I know you're there if I need you.
Hmm.
I mean, we had a conversation just before we started this about feeling a little uncomfortable and my mixing of my foods, the seeds and the carbs, were not so good. So, I mean, I know you're there. You're
Yeah.
the end of an email or whatever. So, and that's good to know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. All right. So I guess to sum up, we've gone from 15 years of debilitating diverticulitis, 2 hospital visits in a month,
Yeah.
courses of antibiotics back to back,
Yeah.
to just changing the way you eat, choosing a whole foods, plant-based lifestyle.
Yes.
And by doing that, you've been able to overcome all of those issues. You've not seen the doctor or been to hospital or used medication for 7 months.
Yes.
And, on the whole, you really feel good now and your digestion's good.
As long as I don't cheat and try and convince myself that a little bit of this won't hurt me.
Yeah,
I mean, it's human nature.
it's
I've
true.
been eating this way for very many years. I'm not telling you how many. So it's not any habit or addiction
Yes.
is hard to break. I still don't accept that coffee's an addiction, however.
We'll agree to disagree on that.
Yes, we will. But I guess and I guess the good thing is that there's so many options for us to choose from for food. It doesn't. So I haven't missed meat at all.
Fantastic. And just to finally just sum up on, I always like to ask our clients, what advice would you give to someone who's looking at this video and thinking, oh, I'd like to try them, but I'm not sure whether it'll work for me, or, I'm just a bit apprehensive. What kind of advice would you give to someone who's in that position?
You have got nothing to lose. If you're having a lot of pain, you will do anything to stop it, and this stops it really quickly. So I think you're silly to just carry on. It would be like breaking your leg and not getting it set properly. It's just so silly, because it only takes a little bit of time, really, and getting over your own habits, your own, what you've done for years. Yeah. So my advice would be, give it a go. You have got absolutely nothing to lose.
Fantastic. All right. Well, thank you so much, Carol. It's been a pleasure. And, we've obviously really enjoyed working with you. We're so happy to see that you're doing well. And, obviously we wish you all the best. And, any final words for the audience?
I don't think so. Just give it a go. I feel so much better and got more energy. And if you lose 16 kilos without going on a diet and you can eat 2,000 calories, what can possibly be wrong with that?
All right. Thanks a lot again, Carol. And,
it's a pleasure.